Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to ConspiracyGate. We're going to be discussing tinfoil hat theories tonight, to your ultimate displeasure and miseducation. Joining me is the one and only Ben Henderson. Hennessy, what do you go by? Why do you have so many last names? Your problem.
I'm a man of many names. I've traveled the world. I'm known by many names. But now I know you all well enough. Ben Henderson, everybody. I'm dropping the Hennessy.
All right, Ben Hender McHennessy, along with the one and only John Nayland, if that is his real name.
It is, in fact, my real name. Aloha, everybody.
Aloha, and no one here believes you, John, but that's fine.
That's all right. They're also not getting my DNA.
So we have done absolutely zero prep work for today's show.
I've been prepping for this show all my life.
But Ben has been, yes. Ben, do you have a particular topic you would like to lead with?
I mean, I think we should just lead with the classic UFO phenomenon.
The UFO phenomenon.
What is it about? What do you guys think is is it extraterrestrial? Is it just madness? Is it extraterrestrials? No. What is it?
Well, I don't want to delve into the madness of the typical X-Files UFO phenomenon. I believe that UFOs are extra-dimensional beings, and they are part of the Nephilim conspiracy to fool the world into believing there are aliens.
Okay. I think they could be extra-dimensional. I could think they could be anything, but I think they could be extra-dimensional. I think they could be extraterrestrial. They actually, some kind of planet. They're getting radio signals now more and more. But they could also be ultra-terrestrial. So they could be a civilization underground, a million years old.
Let me pull up the Hollow Earth map so people can see where exactly the UFOs are stationed in the Hollow Earth.
Yeah. Let's get some hard evidence in here.
That's right. We need some hard evidence.
Exactly. Here's one piece of hard evidence. Why would an admiral of the United States military, Admiral Byrd, claim that he flew his plane into a hole in Antarctica? This was a military-funded trip into a hole in Antarctica, and there was a whole cavern that was illuminated and had cities and the whole thing, which continued military exploration of the Antarctic.
And here I believe I am showing the Hollow Earth as it was mapped by Admiral Byrd, and absolutely.
Now let me get this clear. This is based on this guy who just randomly flew a plane into a cavern?
He was actually sent up there by the military. He was an admiral, so pretty high up, And then there was a program called Operation High Jump, where they sent a fleet of warships looking for, obviously also looking for German Nazi, hidden bases, right? But as they get up there, there's more and more reports that they actually saw flying saucers, this saucer kind of shaped craft.
Yes, you can see where they do take off from this area. This is the mountains higher than outside, where all these little things here are flying saucers, and this is where they hide them in the Hollow Earth. You can see them flying in and out of the Hollow Earth here. This saucer is clearly going to Venus.
Clearly.
Right. And then, they don't get too close to the central sun.
No.
Because they'd burn up.
Exactly.
I do have to say, though, this does fly right in the face of the flat Earth theory, which I think there's far more evidence for than the Hollow Earth theory. It's got a much bigger fan following. So
that's true.
Enigma Seeker. Hit me, or John, can you get Enigma Seeker in here?
A who know what?
Enigma Seeker. He's in the chat. Are your DMs open?
No.
Oh, they're
But
not.
I'll follow them if they have a Twitter.
Enigma Seeker, are you on Twitter? Enigma Seeker seems like he has a lot of information. The age-old debate between Hollow Earth and Flat Earth is about to be
rekindled.
Rekindled. Sorry, I was going for something a little more hi-hat. Hi-hat. Get it? Hi-hat?
I like it.
Link on the channel. Here, Enigma. Dadgummit. Here's Enigma. Mine is Abacus Mike on Twitter. Ping me there right now, and then I will go and follow you back and send you a link. Yeah.
So it makes sense that you would see more supposed UFOs in an area where you have like the Aurora Borealis.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. The Aurora Borealis clearly seems like some sort of a dimensional rift hiding the.
Well, no, I'm not making that argument. I'm making the argument that you're already seeing something in the sky, so it's very possible that you could be seeing lights of other different shapes and sizes and lengths. So what I'm saying is it just makes sense that you would have more UFO sightings in a place where you already have this odd grouping of light, random grouping of light in the sky. So that's probably your explanation for why you're seeing more UFOs in a
Wait, are you trying to claim that the UFO phenomenon is just a figment of someone's vision or imagination?
Yes. I'm going to be the resident skeptic here. And
you're going to have to leave now.
Yeah, and I would like to add that randomly flying a fleet into a cave is probably not a good idea. You probably want to bring people in.
It was one plane. He flew his plane in, and then they went back on a second trip with battle cruisers, with icebreakers, with a whole support staff up to the Antarctic.
Oh, Enigma, you have to follow me back so I can send you a link.
I would believe that more if the guy was flying a helicopter and not a plane, because you're going into a cave system. I mean,
agree.
You're not able to.
Well, let's see. I mean, depends on how large. If they saw light coming from down there,
just fly a plane in it.
Just fly it. Hey, it worked for the Millennium Falcon.
It was exactly, but it was like, however you described it, it was a big enough vortex that it was got kind of a light that did drag, pull him in, and it was big enough for him to fly in. Was his contention.
Right, and they're incredible pilots because as the gravity shifted to a completely 180-degree center, they still managed to stay alive and land their planes in the hollow Earth, avoiding all of the UFOs that were flying through the space they were in. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think the last time we had the hollow Earth discussion, Mike, I made the point that these tunnels are not, they're all over the place.
Right.
Like you don't have to go to the other side of the world or Antarctica to go and check it out. I believe there was one of them was somewhere in North America.
Oh yeah. Let me get that. Let me get the map back up here so people can see exactly what you're talking about.
Are you talking about the military underground bases or the lizard underground bases?
The tunnels to the inner Earth.
You see, he's referring to, we have the Kentucky Mammoth Cave tunnel system that leads directly to the hollow Earth.
Right, that's all you have to do is go to Kentucky and you can figure this whole thing out.
Head on over to Kentucky. It would explain quite a few things if the hollow Earth people were coming up.
I always thought Jack Daniels was magical. Probably where it comes from, that cave system.
Where's that?
Kentucky bourbon.
Oh. So you're saying that bourbon comes from the technologically advanced people inside the hollow Earth.
I think so.
That does make sense. That does make sense. John.
No, yeah, I think flat Earth is a better argument, but that's only because I can argue that from a roundabout way. And my roundabout way for flat Earth is that if you take the idea that the universe is actually like a hologram. It's a 2D dimension. It's a two-dimensional reality projected on a three-dimensional plane. So if you went off that reasoning, then yes, in a way, the Earth is flat. Everything is flat, including the Earth, the sun. It's all
Well, if it's all
equivalent
a
of like a projection.
hologram, John, then there's nothing is flat or round. It is all just digital projections into your mind.
Well, the argument, as I understand it, is everything is actually like a two-dimensional thing. We just perceive it in 3 dimensions.
No, you're wrong.
It could be. I'm not a scientist.
There are no scientists here, my friend.
So if we're talking about hollow Earth, what do you think about the hollow moon? Is the moon hollow or a solid object?
The moon is made of green cheese. I'm sorry.
Well, and what about the big man on the moon?
I honestly
About him anymore.
don't understand the mechanics of the moon. We never see anything but the exact same face, and that sort of geosynchronicity, it seems to be bordering on the impossible.
Yes, it does. And what about NASA that just, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, they had a big aircraft, big spacecraft, and they sent it tons of metal hurtling toward the moon, and it rang like a bell for 8 hours.
Did it?
Yes, that's NASA. Why would it do that unless it was hollow?
Well, NASA lies, you know.
Oh, yeah, well, they do cut feeds. They cut internet feeds. They cut audio feeds. They're a little squirrely stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, never, ever, ever believe NASA. I tell you what. Because as we proved last night, the space shuttle, the Challenger 7 are still alive today. All 6 of them are, at least.
Pretty sure we didn't prove that.
Excuse me, John. Excuse me. But I was there, okay? I saw the pictures, and I'm pretty sure everyone agreed that was proof.
Right? Yes. Because Photoshop does not exist.
Dude.
Or people that just happen to kind of look like other people 30 years removed.
And happen to have the same name. So let's move on with our skeptic friend, John, who... MAGA Man says NASA is CNN. I think that is the case. And NASA.
Why do you think NASA is lying? What is their agenda? Who do they work for?
They work for the government, man.
Man.
Why does no one ever trusts the government, right? But we trust NASA. The NASA is the government.
True.
And Ben Jones works in NASA. Is he a plant?
Good question.
My friend Bruce worked at NASA. Everything at NASA is compartmentalized. So nobody has the grand overview of any particular program except for the way higher up dudes. So it's like if you're working on the space shuttle, you're not working on the space shuttle. You're working on like fuel injectors or some freaking crap, right? Everything at NASA, everyone's jobs are compartmentalized. So nobody knows what everybody else is doing. So it's very easy to just say, hey, this is what we're doing. You do your part. And, they're oblivious to everything else that is going on. And I'm sure Ben Jones would agree with me. Hello, Enigma Seeker.
Hi, how's it going, Mike? Thanks for having me on.
It's going well. I'm going to turn your volume up because you are very low.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
A little better, yeah. Yeah.
I'll just hold it to my mouth.
So what is your story, my friend?
Well, I've seen a UFO, and I highly doubt they're related to extraterrestrial biological beings. I actually summoned one. So I did an experiment back in 2015, and I have a testimony video I did with ESET Original where I explained in more detail. But pretty much, I was just seeing if these claims on YouTube that you can summon UFOs. I'm like, okay, when you say summon, I think of something more supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, why should the UFOs, advanced civilization, care to go to some random person with a flashlight at night, signaling for a few days on a weekend for 2 hours straight, And then eventually, after about a month of trying, I got something. So I highly doubt this phenomenon has anything to do with something biological, because it seemed like it fits the characteristics of what a lot of theologians have been saying about the concept, or about the phenomenon of being able to summon supernatural forces given enough free will. It's
Yeah,
strange, but it's it's
generally
weird.
not a good idea, Enigma. Generally not a good
Yeah.
idea.
Oh,
Gojirify says Malin is the new host of Coast to Coast. We're taking the show in a new direction.
Mm-hmm.
Totally
yeah, I
not.
stopped watching him.
What'd you say, Ben?
I said,
I stopped. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said
Enigma,
I just stopped
Ben
watching him.
too? Oh, Art Bell or George Norrie?
George Norrie.
Oh yeah, you sound pretty young. Did you even know who Art Bell was?
I can't remember that name. I might have seen
Art Bell started Coast to Coast AM, and then after
Oh.
he retired, George Norrie took over for him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I used to listen to Art Bell every single night, like for however long he was on, 4 or 5 hours. That's great.
Yeah, I'm 28, so yeah, I guess I don't remember.
Yeah. This was about 27 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't have long streams.
Yeah. Great stuff too. And he had Chuck Missler on, and Chuck did give the whole explanation of the UFO phenomenon and the Nephilim and the Christian perspective of what UFOs are. And they are, I say extra dimensional because Chuck Missler did, because literally they do things that are physically impossible. UFOs can't, if they're physical objects, it's impossible for them to do the things that they do. So they have to be extra dimensional.
Let me kind of explain my understanding after spending like 6 years researching this with other UFO YouTubers. I've noticed certain characteristics on certain videos after filtering out as many potential fakes as I can find. And pretty much the characteristics are they can fuse, they can morph, they can change shape, change color, pulsate, expand, and shrink. And they have this ability that's almost like molten metal, you could say, or plasma. But I mean, that's the characteristical look, but they fitting this idea that seems far more paranormal than it does like a solid rigid object. But I think they do have the ability to turn into a solid object, like a liquid to a solid. But it's not solid in the sense of something metallic. It's something else. It's strange because it seems like a lot of the video evidence is always a ball of light. And it's like they know that people have video cameras and they're playing with people. They're testing them, sort of. And every time you go out at night and you try to look for them, they're not going to respond on that night, but maybe about a month later, they'll respond to you, because time is very different, I think, to supernatural creatures.
Yeah, you can't comprehend how time affects other dimensions, and we are only capable of witnessing or interacting with 4 dimensions, obviously height, width, length, and then the 4th would be time. Yeah. John Malin.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking up the Art Bell audio stuff, so I was thinking this would probably be a good time for you to play that. The Area 51 Frantic Caller.
Yeah, that was good. I heard that live. I remember that.
Okay.
Here, I put a link in the chat. So it starts at about 1 minute. It's in our private chat here. If you want to just grab the link from that. Yeah, as soon as it started going interdimensional, I was like, well, this is probably a good time for me to dig this thing up. So this audio kind of starts at about a minute in, Mike.
On a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
You can't spend a lot of time on the phone, Bill, so give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51.
Wow.
The disasters that are coming, the military, I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out, so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
I think that's a troll.
Discharge.
Transmission lost. Backup systems running out. Is that it? Is that it? Was that it, John?
I've seen that before, yeah.
That's the gist. But anyways, I think the whole thing's fake because I think the guy ended up having to call back and saying that it was fake. But it had people going for a while.
The overseers made
Yeah, I
him.
remember hearing that.
If
Did
they're
he call back, did the guy
interdimensional-
call back in and say it was fake though?
I do
I
believe.
can't remember. I thought there
I
was.
don't remember. I remember this happening, but I think I missed the actual episode, or I missed the actual it happening. Because yeah, that was like 1997, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
I'm
something.
not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it was in the 90s. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a troll.
Yeah, 1997.
If
Well,
they're
yeah, you-
interdimensional,
You think that guy's a troll?
if they're
Maybe.
interdimensional, they don't care about the military. It's way beyond the military's control.
Yeah.
There's no way the military can control. All they can do is release video footage, which is the same thing as any average citizen can do.
Do you think that Eisenhower talked to any aliens, or was that the whole Majestic 12 thing? So, what about Majestic 12?
They are definitely researching the supernatural, and I think this goes back to the Nazis, and they were also researching the supernatural, and they thought it was extraterrestrial. But I think now the military understands that there's probably something more interdimensional, which is why they call them unexplained aerial phenomenon. Now they don't. I was in the military, just as a second lieutenant, then I got out, in the Air Force. But it's my understanding that it sounds like they're documenting the phenomenon, but that's all they can do. They don't have control over it
I seem
whatsoever.
to remember hearing that Majestic 12 was misinformation.
I think there was a program in Project Blue Book. The Air Force was researching this phenomenon, and I think now they probably understand a lot about it because of the video evidence out there now. And they're
Mm.
releasing that
There was
picture right there.
in MK12. There was a lot of documents, from the, that
We need footage. We don't need documents. We need video footage. And recently they did release something which Armored Skeptic did a review on, and a few other YouTubers like Mouthy Buddha. You guys should check those YouTubers out. But the Pentagon, indirectly through the Stars Academy, released footage. And someone in the Pentagon gave that authority to release that. And it wasn't Trump, obviously. It was someone deep in the Pentagon probably saying, okay, we're going to choose this organization and just release some basic footage. And they trimmed the footage. They only had 30 seconds of it, and they probably have a lot more, but they're going to slowly release it over time. Is most likely their strategy, because that's all they have is video footage.
Wait,
But
so
the older
Majestic
stuff
12.
the older stuff can't have video footage. Like there wasn't video
No,
in the Eisenhower.
none of that stuff matters. It's now we do have video footage, so you got to focus on that, because testimonies, it doesn't matter. You need physical video footage of some sort. And right now, the Pentagon, I think, does have it now, because we have the technology now to capture this stuff on video. The average person does too.
Yeah, you
And
know what
they're
they say,
probably compiling
video
it. And
or it didn't happen.
I'm sorry.
Said, you know what they say, video or it didn't happen.
Well, videos is the only thing we got to try to capture this phenomenon, and I'm sure the military understands that. And they probably have a geodatabase, I bet, somewhere, cataloging all the video footage out there, figuring out a way of setting a criteria to filter the fakes, and then compiling it in some way to figure out a basic conclusion, like, is the phenomenon extraterrestrial or is it more interdimensional? And there's most likely, 99% of the time, every case is in the sky, so they're probably not extraterrestrial.
So
Why should they even need a planet if they have the ability to get here in the first place?
why would they, if it is either way, extraterrestrial or interdimensional, either way, why have they not done the proverbial landing on the White House lawn?
because they don't care about that. They're affecting people psychologically at such a fundamental level because they're supernatural. I don't think they care about affecting, mankind over thousands of years.
Do you
Time
think
is
it's
very
do
different.
you think it's psychological, more like energy vampire kind of extraterrestrial entity more than a physical alien?
Well,
Religion.
I think they're trying
look
to
at the story of the Mormons and the story of Muhammad. Those things all started by something physically intervening, and
An angel.
Muhammad saw something, and the
Yeah.
Mormons saw something, and same phenomenon, with Jesus's birth. All that stuff was caused by supernatural forces. So in the future, stuff like that could happen again. Now, hopefully, God suppresses the demonic ones, which I think He is. But I think there definitely are. I think it's way beyond the idea of extraterrestrials. I think there's almost no. If let's say if they had the ability to get here from in the first place, they're probably going to evolve to a point where they're almost like type 2 or type 3. And that point, they probably don't even need a planet, and maybe they evolve to such a high level they're almost angelic like.
I'm
That-
sticking with them being actually fallen angels.
Yeah, I mean, when we say that, remember the fallen angels are just the lower angels. They're the extreme lower ones,
Oh
actually.
wait,
So
Lucifer was one of the fallen angels. He was the
Yeah.
top dog.
no, Catholic understanding is I don't think he was like. There's different hierarchies of the angelic hosts, they say, and just like as in nature, there's a hierarchy.
Thanks, Jojo.
Where's mommy?
I don't know where mommy went.
Where?
I still don't know. But she took my phone, so go play with Eden.
She got up there.
That one's an alien right there, man.
Yeah, so we got to watch out for these Koreans then, right?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Majestic 12. That's a K-pop group, right?
No, is it?
No, I think they stole the name.
Hmm.
Ben, why don't you give us a breakdown on Majestic 12?
Well, so the Majestic 12 was a group of scientists, military personnel that supposedly
This information.
People like Mike, in other words.
Right, exactly. They were responsible for looking into the UFO phenomenon and figuring out what to do with it and what to do about it. Then there was this infamous Brookings Institute report that came out, right? That really focused on the problem or the question of what if there was alien disclosure to mankind, right, to humanity. So they did this analysis. There was actually a big, the Brookings Institute was the -- big think tank in Washington, D.C. for years and years and years. And after like Orson Welles with War of the Worlds and other events, the Barney and Betty Hill incident, they said, yeah, no, it will fundamentally, if that ever really happened, it would fundamentally, mess up our civilization. So the official government position that people think out of that report, I don't know, but that MJ12 was formed, and the official government standpoint was denial about everything. In a nutshell, that's what.
Maybe that's the safest thing.
Right.
Let me see here. I'm gonna try to run a Facebook ad real quick. I've been doing this lately because the only way you can reach your Facebook audience is by doing live videos. And so I've been starting certain videos with like, hey, Facebook family, I am on YouTube right now, and we're talking conspiracy theories on CONSPIRACYGATE, tinfoil hat theories. The link is in the description, so why don't you come and join us? I will be ending this video soon. Jojo, I can't help you.
I want it.
Don't get Eden to help you. It's my life. Sorry, you came to my house. All right.
No.
Ben, go on. Please do go on.
Well, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, right? That the official position became, cover up. But a lot of conspiracy theories out there that, it would really never stop. That the quote unquote black ops, black budget went into a secret space program that had been going on for a very long time. That German scientists after World War II were very close to, like you said earlier about, the supernatural, that they were kind of tying in with this drill
Blavatsky and all that.
Yeah, what is it? Like I don't remember.
Like when they were trying to get the Ark
well,
of Covenant.
Well, exactly. That they already had that to power everything, so that they, it was easier to design the UFOs.
I heard they got it from that Dr. Jones guy.
Yeah,
no, as far as the
historical.
The reason I keep going back to misinformation is that the misinformation campaigns are designed to put out enough information mixed together with false information to lead people down the primrose path to believe what the government wants them to believe. And
well, I think like in the 1940s and up to the 1960s, they probably really thought this phenomenon had something to do with extraterrestrials, because when they saw something that looked like a saucer, I mean, even at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, you can go to the museum there, and they have something that looks like a flying saucer. Now, something inspired that design, which is a stupid design, but something must have caused the designer to say, let's make a cylindrical-looking kind of aircraft, and they probably thought it was solid, this phenomenon. But now, with video footage and more higher technology, that fighter jets can almost chase down these a little bit, they probably conclude that this has to be something that's not solid in nature because of the behavior of this phenomenon. It's moving.
Again, they can't exist. They can't literally exist in physical space, not according to the laws of physics. Mega Man for $2 says maybe aliens are amongst us and they are the NPCs. That is entirely possible. Perhaps they are a breed of lizard men, the lower caste of lizard men, taking over the dullest wits among us and getting Democrats elected. Go on. Ben, what were you going to say?
Oh man, that was a big one. I don't even know where we left off.
Well,
sorry, man. We're going to hit a lot of tangents here.
Well, I think we're all part of a simulation, anyways, and we're all living in the My Pillow guys world. So we're all NPCs for Mike Lindell.
You know what? There is a multiverse. There is a universe out there that is real.
Yeah, this is it.
This is the one we're living in.
Yeah, it's all about Mike Lindell.
All right. Not to go off on a tangent here, but you realize that the My Pillow is just him taking a foam pillow and ripping up it into little pieces.
Yes, we are all part of his virtual reality fantasy where he took over the world by making very comfortable pillows and mattresses.
So if I open up my medicine cabinet, will he be in there?
No, because you are unaware that you are part of the simulation, but you are. Yes, yeah. You're just an NPC. It's all about Mike Lindell.
That is, it's as believable as anything else I hear.
Thank you.
All right, Facebook guys, I'm going to end the live video. Please jump over to the link in the description if you want to join us on YouTube. Thank you. All right.
You see, I did you a favor there, Mike, because people don't care about the tinfoil hat stuff, but they love Mike Lindell.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I think you need to switch that with Hillary Clinton because she's the one that was talking about UFOs.
Yeah, and Jimmy Carter, I believe, made promises to find out about Area 51 when he was running for president, and then, and this may be urban legend, but then some ufologist caught up with him at an event or something, and he asked him about it, and he said that Jimmy Carter's eyes just watered up, and he didn't say anything.
What about Area 52?
I'm sure that there is so many. The real stuff is not done at any Area 51, 52. Nothing.
It's all in Canada.
Yeah,
that's
something like that.
Nothing would be in Canada.
Well, we
Canada's not
Canada in some ways, so
Canada's not even real. We just made that up. That is our Area 52.
Yeah, those are just
they call it that because it's planned to be the 52nd state someday when we actually do populate it with real people.
Did you say 52nd? What's the 51st?
Oh, we can't tell you that.
Oh, okay.
Project Bluebeam, people, learn it. Don't fall for the scam. Does anyone here know what Project Bluebeam is?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Mike Lindell
yeah,
does.
look it up.
Mike
Who-
Lindell heads Project Beam.
Who would win in a fight, Chuck Norris or Lindell?
Lindell. He's basically Neo.
That's true. He could jump from body to body.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
It's his world. We just live in it.
And he would have a really super padded outfit on so that he couldn't get hurt by Chuck Norris's kicks.
So it
He'd
says
probably use
Project-
Chuck.
Go ahead.
He'd probably use Chuck Norris as stuffing for his pillows.
Wow, he's that powerful. Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, hey, if he's Neo, he's Neo,
Cinesham in the chat says, have you guys seen that little video snippet showing a chained to the ground Nazi-made UFO lifting off?
Yes. The little bell, the Nazi bell is what they called it. It was like a
Oh,
report or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Oh, I have to look it up now. Why are you making me do this?
Screen share.
I know, I'm just trying to... Well, let's see. This is a short video. I don't know if this is it, though. Screen share! Do you guys know if this is the one, the top one?
I don't
The
know.
Nazi Bell, I don't think that's it. I know the
Nazi-
History Channel talked about it.
Nazi Bell?
Isn't
Yep.
that it?
Hello. Yeah.
Nazi Bell UFO. Oh, that's still the one that pops up. Let me see.
Newly released documents and deathbed confessions from scientists involved in top-secret Nazi development paints a picture of a race to develop a supercraft. Aircraft design
no.
with early prototypes for vertical takeoff jets and even fixed wing and
Nope,
stealth
I don't see
technology.
anything. I don't see that.
I do think the Nazis were trying to replicate what they saw, but I don't think they understood that this phenomenon is not a spaceship.
This?
Yeah, there's that video. Yeah.
Where's the actual video? This is a whole bunch of...
No, there's no real video of it.
Oh, there's
It's
no
just
real
all
video?
replication. No, this is all. There's some design ideas on paper, but sketches.
I think the word
Nazi
you're looking
made.
for. I think the word you're looking for is made up.
Maybe
Well,
they're
I-
trying...
There is
yeah,
some documentation
Yeah,
that
you're
they were
talking about
experimenting or something.
that, the video, the little simulated. It was on the History Channel.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
We all can trust the History Channel.
yeah, that's a really good source.
Yeah, it wasn't like film, but it was like this.
Well, that's no fun. Spike in Madness for $5 says, have you heard of David Icke? I have heard of that. I don't remember the name, though. I don't remember where from. The reptile gods throughout history. Icke? I don't know.
Like, yeah.
Were the fallen angels. Look at the Queen of England. Reptiles still rule over us.
No, that's a bunch of bullshit. Sorry.
I
I
knew
don't
it.
know, it's possible.
Let's see.
We need video evidence.
Yeah. Video
unless it's a Nazi bell.
A reptile.
If it's a Nazi bell, we don't need that evidence.
Yeah, most of the stuff the History Channel talks about is just about documentations and sketches from the 1940s and 50s, but that's just paper.
Oh, I think there's a lot of Queen Elizabeth reptilian questions here.
See?
I don't know.
Must be true.
Look, she admits she's not human.
The Pope's a reptilian too, apparently.
It's on YouTube.
Well, like-
Must be true.
And Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And then the liberals who Trump
Obama's
is.
not smart enough to be reptilian. Oh, look, a time traveler who went to the year 2749 reveals all. That's interesting. Maybe time travel isn't a topic for this week's episode.
Did you see the guy like years ago? He said he went to like the year 2030, and now it's kind of getting closer, and nothing's like he described. Pretty funny.
No, but I remember. Do you remember? Well, who's that remote viewing guy that was on Art Bell all the time?
Case. Oh, I was going to say Edgar Casing, but
Do you remember, Ben?
I don't remember. I know. Remote viewing, but I don't know the name of the person.
Yeah, but he
I
was
know-
like spitting out all of these prophecies and prophetic things, and it's like,
I like Edgar
Yeah.
Cayce, a sleeping prophet. He has. I went to his museum in Virginia Beach once. That area.
People in
else?
chat are saying John Titor.
John Titor.
I don't know.
Familiar. That doesn't sound familiar.
Well, that's probably why it's right.
Doomsday MYK says, I am a super soldier time traveler. I knew you were going to type that. Oh my gosh. He knew.
Brian
Nostradamus.
Brian Gitman says Nostradamus. Yeah, probably
Ed
not
Gaines.
on Art Bell.
I think that's yeah. Danes, Ed Danes, Major Ed Danes. That guy, yeah. He was on Art Bell all the time back then in the late 90s. Man, art. That's the thing about Art, is I'm not sure what he believed and what he didn't believe, but he always made his guests feel like he believed everything they were saying. It was good
Have you guys
stuff.
heard about the report of a Oumuamua zipping by? I think it was like 2 months ago. I made a video on that, but
No.
I think it's probably just a natural object. Now, I guess they
Tell us
claim that it spud up like this. Like they didn't think it came from outside our solar system. It came down towards the sun, but I guess the scientists are saying they can't account for an extra 5 miles per second increase in velocity. They don't think, unless their calculations are wrong. So they're saying they're leaving it open to maybe it's something artificial. But so far, if it comes back, then we can panic. But so far, it hasn't come back.
Well, I'll tell my pitiful little UFO story. I was I don't know, 18 years old, 19 years old, and I was out. We were on a road trip, and I was just like sitting by the poolside, I had my feet in the pool, and I was staring up into space, and I was watching we were way away from the city, so I could actually see stars.
How high were you?
Watching a satellite. I was sober. I was watching a satellite just drift across the sky, and out of the blue, it just goes like 200 and something degree turn, and just makes it like a check mark in the sky, but like takes off 10 times faster than the speed it was at. It's just like, and I'm like,
Interesting.
okay, that was an
That's
unidentified.
probably not a satellite.
That was not capable. It was physically impossible. So that's why so many of the eyewitness accounts describe things that are simply not possible in our physical universe, and that would be one of them.
Well,
Yeah,
I can make an
red big ball of light. It was very close, like 200 feet away, but about 100 feet above the ground. And it came because I was shining a flashlight in the sky. So if you had a flashlight, Mike, you could try to signal. It won't respond on that day, most likely, but it might give you a hint in the future. And then you signal again, and you wait over time, and eventually they'll get closer and closer.
I was on a road. I wasn't going to stay at that.
Oh, you're on the road. Okay, yeah.
For Kindle for $5, Art Bell started a new radio show called Midnight in the Desert. It's still in production and is way better than Coast to Coast AM. Really? Why did he gave up Coast to Coast because of something? Was it his son's health or his son's death or something like that? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember why, but I don't even remember doing the other. I don't remember doing another one.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. Interesting. Thank you, Perkindo. Excellent information.
Hey guys,
Art
I'm
Bell.
gonna have to jump. One of my kiddos is calling for me. They've been under the weather. I know you know what it's like, Mike.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But we'll do another one of these really soon. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.
Believe. All right, John, did you want to straighten us out on anything?
Yeah, the dust or the thing at your pool would easily be explained by a speck of dust catching the light, being carried in a breeze in front of your eye, much closer than you thought it was, and then the wind picks up a little bit and blows it away, and looks to you like it's very far away and moving at a high rate of speed, but it's probably going like 5 miles an hour.
That would have had to have been very well. It would have had to have been far enough away for me to not recognize that it was right in front of my face, because Otherwise,
at
it would be
night.
blurry.
It's at night. It's a trick of light.
Right. It's at night, which means your eyes are dilated more, which means your depth of field is far, far less, which means any speck of dust in front of my face, if I was focusing on the stars, would have been blurry.
You can test that theory out. It's not
Try it.
dust. You can, on a camera, you can see dust. Like some people say this poltergeist phenomenon, they're orbs. I used to fall for that, but then I'm like, okay, you can test it out. Shake a rug in front of your iPhone. It works with like iPhones and cameras, but not larger digital cameras. But you can see that dust, and people say, "Oh, that's the poltergeist orbs," but no, like you can test some of these things out. But to say that, did you see? Was this in the sky? You said, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you could you tell perception wise that it was far away? Like you could just
Yeah, it was like I
know.
thought it was a satellite.
Okay, yeah.
I thought it was a satellite.
And it was first moving slowly, you said.
Yep.
And then it zipped by. So there's no way that could be dust. I mean, you might say space station.
That makes zero sense. Yeah, it was going slow, then it went fast. No way it could be dust. That 100% it could be dust. 100%
How would the
it could
light
be dust.
reflect on it?
It's a trick of death.
You saying it's a trick of death doesn't mean that's a physically true.
You saying it's not a trick of death doesn't mean that it's not a trick of death.
No, you can test when reflections happen.
All right, well, let's go back to 1983 when Mike was out there smoking a doob on his pool, and then we'll test to make sure it wasn't a trick of death.
Hey, Mike, time-wise, how long did you first see it?
Gosh, dude. I don't know. I just thought it was a satellite. I was just watching it go across the sky, so I don't know. 10, 20 seconds. Gojirify says, Malin is the Larry Storch of science. Who's Larry Storch?
No idea.
No idea. Gojirify, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'd rather be the Michael Lindell, though.
I'm Mike Lindell. Where's a pillow? I need a pillow. Yeah, but John, you are completely wrong. Thank you. Doomsday AYK says that he's seen a couple of UFOs. And Spike and Madness says, Malin, your dust theory is breaking down, dude. Sorry, Malin.
Yep. Sure.
Hey, man. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Yes, Heathen Breathing Fire Art Bell is dead. I don't remember when he passed away exactly, but it wasn't. I don't think it was that long ago.
Don't worry, he'll be alive in another year or two. It's just the Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect. That's a topic for another show. Yeah, I want to wrap this up in about. Let me see how much time we got left. About 13 minutes. Is there anything? Any other good tidbits you got for us, Enigma?
Well, I can tell you I saw another phenomenon. This is most likely demonic. In my studio class at Iowa State University with a friend, I do have some video footage, but it's very hard to get it on footage because it's small. But we literally saw a little wooden ball teleport around our room. And it had something to do with my friend. He's actually from Iran originally. He's trying to become an American citizen because Iran's crazy. So he's pretty secular. He's still Muslim, but he's not a strong believer. But he thinks it's a jinn, and I sort of agree that there's something was happening around him, and we heard noises in the room, and then eventually I came that night, and we literally saw this wooden ball would teleport, drop from the air right near us, and yeah, that's a poltergeist. So if any atheists are watching, there really are physical phenomenons, but they're extremely hard to get on video because they're intelligent. And they're a lot smarter than the average Homo sapien.
Oh, yeah.
We now have video footage nowadays thanks to technology, so there's a chance. You got to remember, when it comes to studying supernatural, we only have a couple decades with cameras and things and computers. So this is the first time in our history that we could actually try to prove the supernatural. So give it a few more decades or so, and there will be scientists starting to research this phenomenon far deeper than the average YouTuber can.
Yeah, Mr. Bracey says jinn are basically demons, and I do not disagree.
So some are. Their categorization is a little vague, but
most
cases are demonic.
That particular book you're getting that information from is misinformation. The Buzz CJC for $5 says Art stated C2C. Art started Coast to Coast, then went to XM Sirius and ran a show called Dark Matter, and then went to the internet for a short time and did Midnight in the Desert. Turd Ferguson wants to know about the conspiracy of pineapple on pizza. Must be demons or aliens or something. If that's the case, then
pineapple on pizza.
I'm guilty. Pineapple on pizza is a wonderful thing.
Exactly what I would expect aliens to say.
They cannot transmit their filthy thoughts into my head, Mr. Malin. I don't know what you're wearing.
Well, mine either, or my cat, apparently.
Cuttlefish. Oh, that's interesting. Devil's Burn says, I always said if there was a cuttlefish type being that lived on land, that could camouflage. Although that's not a... Yeah, that'd be cool. Right? What if you had that cuttlefish
There's
skin?
certain lizards that can do that.
Not as fast as cuttlefish.
No. Yeah, the water helps in it.
Cuttlefish are red. Here, for those who don't know, I'm gonna...
Who wants to hug a fish?
Not cuttlefish. Cuttlefish. Jeez, don't you know the difference between cuttlefish and cuttlefish?
Apparently not.
Spiky. It's like a spiky blowfish or something.
Yes, these are underwater alien beings, I'm pretty sure. Gojirify says, I had sex with an alien, which was extremely rare. Turned out it was just my girlfriend at the time, which is why it was unexpected.
Hey-o.
Yeah, I'm not quite certain how to respond to that, Gojirify, but thanks for your $5 super chat.
It sounds like most alien abductions to me.
What, his girlfriend? What?
Yeah, drugs and girlfriends.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that with most alien abductions, they're just trying to get... What the heck is this? No giant river monsters. No. All right. They're trying to accumulate genetic material. That's why it's always like, they took my sperm, they took my eggs, all that kind of stuff. So they're doing something with our genetics, and speculation is that is where you get the grays, because they are human angelic hybrids. That
I think most likely it's just the poltergeist phenomenon, literally raping your brain to make you think this stuff, and then they put that in society culturally,
that's
so
not
it
where
spreads.
my brain is.
Well, I mean, I think some of these abduction cases have some basis, but not physically being abducted outside of your house, but there's something to do with the sleep paralysis, and people. There's more to the stories. Like people say, I saw like my chair move, and I also saw an alien. Like, okay, and I saw something teleport, and I'm hearing noises in my house. I'm like, all this fits the characteristics of the poltergeist phenomenon. And I think it was Jacques Vallée who also came up with this hypothesis that he's seeing so many parallels with the supernatural characteristics that's been passed down from Egypt to today. And with this UFO phenomenon, we're just putting a different mask on, unless the phenomenon itself is putting that mask on and somehow affecting our brains and literally the last thing you want is a poltergeist getting into your body, because they can literally mess up the neurons in your head.
I would agree.
And
I would not want a poltergeist.
I think it's most likely related to that phenomenon.
I think even John would agree with that statement.
Yeah, sure.
Here's a topic that actually I have not looked into, but I think Enigma you might have. Heathen Breathing Fire says, yes, I concur that as well. Doom, many say CERN destabilized Planck's constant in 2012, and we actually jumped timelines. Do you have any CERN research on hand or in your brains? No.
I don't believe in that stuff. They're just smashing particles. Hasn't done
But
anything.
have you looked into it at all?
A little bit, but if it really was a big deal, something should explode or whatever. And I don't think so. I think there's just all speculation. We need video evidence of actual phenomenons happening at CERN.
Yeah, I have a good friend who's like bought and sold that CERN is opening up dimensions into the demonic and the
I don't think God's gonna allow that. He ultimately controls.
Hey, who knows what the functional process of the end times,
Because in CERN, they're not physically. In order to summon or open up a portal or summon demons, you have to be self-aware of that. So I sort of was self-aware. I'm like, okay, I know there's a chance this could be demonic if I put my flashlight outside and start signaling. They're not looking at the flashlight. Okay, there's no way they can see that from the sky. What they're seeing is the flashlight acts like a wand, like a magic wand. It shows more intent of your free will to summon a supernatural being. And in most cases, it's always this lower demonic ones that like to play with people. And those are called in Japan yokais.
That's one possible explanation. But I think that because we do live, the 10 dimensions, the 6 inferred dimensions that you can only get to through math, but they do exist. And if they are doing something with the whole CERN collider that is going beyond what one would consider, normal physical, I don't know what's the word, not ability, but trying to go beyond our physical plane and moving into the subatomic and whatnot. Who's to say they can't be ripping open a gateway into another dimension?
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell. He's there.
Mike makes all these decisions, guys. It's always on Mike. So if Mike wants to turn CERN into a demonic portal, he'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Well, like in the character, what's that character? Raven in DC Comics. They did pretty well to understand the supernatural. Like she had to do a transmutation circle, and the point of that again is to show more and more willingness. It doesn't matter if it's a circle, if it's a square, and she had to summon Trigon, and Trigon cannot break in because there's supernatural laws preventing him. But your free will is an aspect of your supernatural nature, so you can use that, and that's the curse of the original sin, is that knowing you have the power to summon demons. That's what the Egyptians knew.
Have you done a lot of study into you've got the Egyptian eye.
Yeah.
Is it the all-knowing eye?
Oh, Eye of Horus. No correlation to Jesus. I don't know why people always say that. It just represents, like, I guess, supernatural portal sort of opening up and the earth is in the center.
So what do you know about Egyptian high technologies?
Well, I think when it comes to source of civilization, as a landscape architect, when I say, and as a Catholic, I do believe that there probably was a Garden of Eden. And that seems to be a source of maybe civilization. And I think it's probably that giant oasis sticking out of the Middle East for the past 20,000 years or more. It's that Nile Delta. And in the Bible, it does reference the Gihon. And if you look at a lot of African Christian traditions in Ethiopia, they're saying, yeah, the rivers they're talking about is the Nile. But the other rivers the other parts are just adopted stories that the Sumerians took. And then other Jewish groups as well who went to Samaria.
Yeah, I think that if the topography is the same as it was prior to Eden, prior to the flood, I think that's a solid. I honestly think the topography was drastically altered during the flood, and so I'm thinking that those rivers were probably renamed after previous rivers that had existed prior to Noah.
Yeah, I think the Great Flood happened as a Catholic, I don't believe it's the whole earth, but I definitely believe there was some major Great Flood, and something supernatural had to trigger.
There's over 300 flood stories, flood legends from around the world, and they are all global flood stories. And they all, not all of them, but many, if not most of them, have the basic framework of the angry God, the righteous man saving his family, some with the animals as well, through the global apocalyptic flood. So if you have that story, when in history corroborating accounts from disparate peoples, you take that as historical fact. You don't.
Let me quote Dr. Michael Heiser. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's a linguistic. And
no, but Mike Heiser was an editor at Wildstorm who hated me. So I'm already starting off the wrong foot, Mister.
I forgot what university he's from, but this professor argues that a lot of these stories, like in the Mesoamerican stories, especially with Cholula, the legend of Cholula and the Aztecs, he thinks those
Hot
stories
sauce?
were adopted. Yeah, they have a flood myth, adopted by an older source, but over time they fitted to the land and language. So it's a little bit indistinguishable. And there's only a few legends out there. Like Japan doesn't really have a flood story. It sort of does, but it's not as precise as like the Mayans and the
Well,
Aztecs.
Japan wouldn't need one because the Japanese came from Korea. Korea has one, and China
has
has
something
one.
similar.
Yeah.
And I think all of them are
Aborigines
coming
in
from
Australia
Egypt.
have one.
I think it all
mean,
started in Egypt and dispersed those stories, and then they changed as they changed languages and locations, they fitted to their lands.
well,
over
then
10,000
you're
years
saying
ago.
that they all came from the same spot, which is the
I
flood
think-
myth. Otherwise, you're because they were all in the same location, they all had the same stories, and then they were dispersed. It's not like the
from
Egyptians
Egypt,
were
I
like
think.
traveling to freaking Australia to
No.
tell the Aborigines their
No, I'm
flood
saying
myth.
like
And convince
after the
them.
flood. Okay, well, let's say the Garden of Eden is Egypt's Nile Delta. After the flood, that whole delta was completely submerged. Things were destroyed. And from there, population, because the Nile Delta had the largest population region in the whole Middle East for over 10,000 years. But it's not like a city state, but that delta housed a lot of people. And something might have happened there. And there's a lot of evidence to show that something catastrophic. I think Graham Hancock and Brian Forster has kind of pointed this out. And from there, they disperse out, but then they settle in Samaria. Then they change the story and the language over about 1,000 years. And then another group breaks away. They settle in India. And then from there, they change it a little bit. And then the story keeps dispersing out towards China, eventually gets to Mesoamerica. And this is over 10,000 years. So in 10,000 years, yes, most people, most scientists agree that they think most of civilization started in the Middle East. And going back, I don't know if you don't believe in evolution, I guess, as much,
No,
but
there was
I
no.
won't
Hold
go
on,
into
hold on. I didn't even think I was gonna bring. Oh, I closed it up. There was an article that came out today that they tracked back all of human DNA to one single mother and father.
Africa.
And they
somewhere
said
in
it was
Africa.
100,000 years ago, but I don't buy that crap.
I think it's
But
70,000.
there were no, there was no, Homo sapiens sapiens breeding with Homo erectus breeding with whatever. There was no interchanging breeding with different lines of people. There was a human mother and a human father, and all of mankind came from those two people.
And I think that Adam and
Says,
Eve.
sorry, John.
Africa.
Anyways, I could do
We're
this,
getting off topic.
but I wanted to wrap this up after about an hour.
I
wanted
thought
to
you
make
guys
this a-
were going to make some point on Egypt. This went
We got.
way out. You guys stirred that way off course there. Yeah.
All right, we can do
I
that.
think my main point is that most of civilization may have started there. I think looking as an architect, like all this architecture that the Greeks had, a lot of the historians from the Greeks, like they said that they got that knowledge from Egypt. The story of like even the myths like from Plato, like Atlantis, that came from soldiers of Sais in Egypt. And over time, that legend was changed by Plato over hundreds of years. I mean, and then eventually, other stories like Agartha and Shambhala, that's a Persian legend, not an Indian legend. It comes from Persia, and from the Persians were greatly mixing with the Sumerians and the Egyptians. You can see this architectural styles and their linguistic origins. It fits. So I think even those Eastern legends may have their roots in Egypt, or at least in Samaria.
Entirely possible. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for ConspiracyGate tinfoil hat theories for today, Saturday, the whatever day it is of the week or of the month. I'd like to thank Enigma Seeker for being here. Enigma, you want to shout out your YouTube channel and
Sure.
Twitter and
I make videos on biblical enigmas. I used to make videos on phenomenons like the mystery boom phenomenon, USNs, and UFOs. I'm kind of now moving more into the architectural ancient enigmas in the landscape. So if you're interested in that, check out my channel. And yeah, I'll be back on Mike's channel soon. Maybe.
Right, and you may not know this, but Enigma does have a tinfoil hat on while we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
And John Malin,
Yeah, I'm John Malin. You can find me on Twitter at John Malin. I also have a YouTube channel, John Malin. Nothing but stone cold science, baby, and Mike Lindell love. So yeah, follow me over there.
All right.
And thank you for Ben Hennessy / Henderson being here. Dennis Pruch asks when I will get physical copies of Lone Star. I don't know. It is printing this weekend as we speak, and however long it takes to get from the printer to me is how long it takes for me to get them. So
Look forward to it.
I can't tell you till I have that packing slip in hand, and I know. For those who don't know, I have a Indiegogo still alive and well at LoneStarComic.com. I did overprint, so if you order some, I will be able to get them to you really soon because they're printing as we speak. Well, I mean, maybe not right now because it's kind of late over on the East Coast. But LoneStarComic.com. This is Blacklist Universe. Please do like and subscribe. I look forward to doing another Conspiracygate Tinfoil Hat Theories sometime in the near future. And hopefully we'll get to do a Masterpiece Theater sometime tonight. That would be a whole lot of fun. So thanks everyone for being here. Like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff, and we'll see you next time. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.